Hello everyone, Kieran here with Explorminate, and welcome to what is sadly going to be the last video of this Let's Try series for Sanctus Reach, Sons of Cadia. It's actually been a very fun ride. I mean, I say that 100%. Sometimes I'm doing videos for games and I get a little burnt out, or maybe I'm writing something, and you don't have to finish it, but you want to finish what you started. I can honestly say 100% of the time I've been doing these videos and playing on my own, I've had a lot of fun. And I think that speaks volumes to what the developers have added here, and hopefully this is a taste of more to come. I I sure don't know, but I'll talk about that here a little bit later on. So I wanted to kind of break this into, again, a quick summation of what I think the game did well, what it could improve on still, and then just a few last thoughts to wrap everything up. So, one thing that's important to keep in mind with this is Sons of Cadia is an expansion, and I think it's very rare that any expansion in any game redefines, at least in a dramatic way, what a game is and moves it beyond its foundation. What I mean by that is you're not going to have. I'm trying to think of an example, and I really can't. There may be some out there. I can't think of, for example, a Civ expansion or a Gal Civ expansion or things along that line that just completely reinvent what the game is. They're going to add features and whatnot, but it's not like, wow, this is a completely different game. That is why you release, version, game number two, number three, number four, and so on. And even though Sons of Cadia does not redefine what the foundation of Sanctus Reach is, I think it excels in an additional piece of content, whether you call that an expansion or race pack, whatever you feel like this best fits into. Even though it's simply, and I don't mean this uh, as an insult, it's simply as a race. With the Imperial Guard, they really do play differently. I honestly haven't played the orcs that much. I hate the orcs. I just do. I never liked them in 40k, so that's nothing against this game. It's just in general I hate these space orcs. But they do play so much different than the space wolves and the space marines, and I'm glad that difference of play, the way your units work, how tough they are, things like that, and some of the abilities do make this a standout piece of content, I think, because it's not just, oh, this is a reskin and the leader has a little bit different perks or something. Like, the gameplay is very different in terms of how you're going to play to win and how your army composition is going to look. The upgrades are also a really nice addition with the campaign, and I've had a lot of fun with that. That's been a good way to really pull me into the single player. And then I'm enjoying the missions more than I did before. I think I've mentioned that. And I'm not sure if that is because they're that much better than the original missions. I don't know if they are, if I'm just drawn more into the feeling of let's play the Imperial Guard as opposed to the Space Wolves, which surprised me because I think, as I said before, if I was ever going to do a 40k army, like an actual tabletop army, I would probably do something like Space Wolves. But the Imperial Guard have been a very satisfying surprise. Um, in terms of like the price, again, it's a lot of single player, kind of revamped single player. And I think that's a decision, if this is worth it for you that you're going to make. I'm just trying to lay out the pros and cons. But for me, as somebody who enjoyed Sanctus Reach, I'd say I've enjoyed this more. So I by no means think that this is just a money grab. I feel like this is a pretty well put together piece of content. Now, those are some of the good things I think of the game, and I touch on some of those already, so that's why I went through that list a little quick. Uh, some of the things that I'm not going to say they're bad, but I would like added. I still feel like there could be more features added, and I say that lightly because in thinking about this the last few days, I honestly can't say, well, what is like a feature I would like from Warhammer that's not in here? When I say from Warhammer, from like my understanding of the tabletop game that's not in here. And there isn't a lot. And anytime that I can't think of something the developer should do, I really want to be, um, or a developer could add, I want to be very careful with my criticism. Uh, like I said, the Imperial Guard being added as a race to play as really diversifies your playing experience. But it would be cool to see, I don't know, maybe a few more iterations in terms of terrain. I feel like is a little scattered. It would be nice if more you could be getting up on walls and things like that. I think the battlefield being a little bit more dynamic as opposed to empty spaces with kind of terrain would be something that could be beefed up a bit in terms of improving the gameplay, and it's not really gonna. It wouldn't be like a radical redesigning of the game. It's not like, oh, the engine can't handle this. It would just be nice if terrain was a little bit more of a key player, I feel like. Um, but again, there is terrain here, kind of a minor critique, but I would just like to see them move a little bit more in that way. The other thing that I think is a big miss, and this isn't just true of Sons of Cadia or Sanctus Reach. I don't know why all these Warhammer games that Games Workshop lets get licensed, they don't have like army creators that much. There have been few and far between. If you guys know, I am crazy. I am always crazily playing more hours than I should. Like Warhammer Total War, and that game still doesn't have like an army customization. Sons of Cadia, you're not rendering nearly as many units. I would like the ability to customize some units for skirmish and things like that, whether that's toolkitting them out a little bit and whatnot, as opposed to, oh, here's, the Imperial Guard with the laser gun or the plasma gun. Like, let me customize them just a little bit more. Would be cool. That would obviously take a little bit more balancing and work. I definitely think the developers are capable of that. They put together an amazing game, and that's just something personally would help me, feel like reinvesting even more time and maybe even experiencing multiplayer, which I have not dipped my toes in at all with Sanctus Reach at all. But that would be cool, I think, to go toe to toe with friends or maybe strangers. I don't know if I would want to put myself through probably getting slaughtered by the very good Sanctus Reach players out there, but you get what I'm saying. Army customization would be nice, whether it's colors or kitting the tanks out a little bit more and things like that, because I do feel a little limited, especially with armor. It's like, well, you know, these all kind of have the same weapons, and sure they do in the tabletop game, but maybe let me pull a couple guns off or add a couple guns, things like that. Again, it's not like that really undermines the experience at all, but these are just things that I guess I would put on my wish list, alongside obviously more uh, races. Excuse me, and that let's with that I guess I'm going to kind of transition to my last final thoughts. I don't know what their licensing agreements are like or anything like that, and I'm sure that's part of the constraint, perhaps. I guess that's a little bit of an assumption on my part. I would love to see a lot more races that are outside the human versus orc sphere brought into the game. Eldar, Tyranids, Chaos. I mean, whatever. The Warhammer 40k universe is very rich with different races, and I would like to see more brought in. It would be cool. Again, kind of a wish list kind of thing. Uh, and then I do hope we get more Sanctus Reach going forward. I enjoyed Sanctus Reach. I really enjoyed Sons of Cadia. Again, I don't know if it was just like a different point in my life, and I was like, hey, this fills a void that wasn't there before, because the game is not dramatically different. But I hope we keep getting more DLC and such for this game. And with that, like I said, I would love to see that move in the direction of even a little bit more than just new races, but time will tell with that. So overall impressions of this game, the short version, if you liked Sanctus Reach, I think you will like Sons of Cadia maybe even more than the base game. If you didn't like it, I don't think the expansion's for you. As I said, it doesn't redefine the wheel in any major way. But what is here is, I think, almost certainly sure to please any fan of the original experience. But that's what I have for you guys. Just a few last thoughts. Didn't want to be too redundant there. Again, want to thank Slytherin for the copy of the key. Full disclosure that, again, as I mentioned, this was given to us for demo purposes and stuff, and I was glad to have the opportunity to dive back into the game. Like I said, better than before. So thank you to them. And if you guys aren't, please check out the rest of the stuff on our YouTube page. I think, as has been mentioned on the podcast multiple times, we've had kind of a back and forth with YouTube's algorithms, but we appreciate you checking us out anyways, and we appreciate the support. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you'd like to see. We do this as a hobby, but we do this for you guys, for the fans. So we definitely want to make sure we're covering the stuff you want to see, and in a way that's worth your time. And also thank you to everybody who has watched this series. Been very happy to see how many people have taken time to tune in this little 4-episode series. And as always, let me know what you think of these videos of Sons of Cadia if you've played it. And we'll keep bringing you content whenever we can. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.